Alright, today we are looking at 1 Nephi chapter 3 verse 3. For behold, Laban hath the record of the Jews, and also a genealogy of my forefathers, and they are engraven upon plates of brass. This is a remarkable evidence of the Book of Mormon. It may not seem like much right now, but we're going to show you something that is one of the strongest evidences of the Book of Mormon that we have on record. Alright, who was Laban who had these plates? Laban is described as a notable citizen of Jerusalem who commanded great wealth and many servants. Among his possessions were a set of brass plates containing the genealogy of Lehi, a major character in the early portion of the Book of Mormon. That's from Wikipedia. He was a military leader of a garrison of 50 and part of a greater army of 10,000, and he was of the tribe of Joseph. These are things we learned from the Book of Mormon itself. What was going on in Jerusalem at this time when Laban and Lehi lived in Jerusalem? Jerusalem was a vassal state of Babylon under the rule of Nebuchadnezzar. So Nebuchadnezzar was a pretty easygoing ruler. He allowed the people of Jerusalem to live and worship how they wish. They were allowed to continue in their customs and live as Jews. In response, he demanded a very high tax. So they would tax Jerusalem. Jerusalem would pay hand over foot to Babylon, but they were allowed to basically live and worship how they wished. So there was political pressure from the people within Judea for Zedekiah to rebel against Babylon to get rid of this high tax that they had to pay, and they had no strength to do it, to fight Babylon on their own. So the popular opinion of the day was to join Egypt, join an alliance with Egypt. Egypt talked big, but never showed up to a fight to defend Jerusalem. Jeremiah and other prophets warned Zedekiah not to do it, and one of those was Lehi that we read. There was financial turmoil inside Jerusalem because of this tax, and wickedness and unrighteous behavior prevailed among the Jews. We read about that in the Book of Mormon and the Bible. And Babylon was about to be destroyed, or was about to destroy Jerusalem for flirting with Egypt and even forming an alliance with Egypt. All right, the Lachish Letters. Here's where the evidence comes to light. Discovered by James Starkey in 1935, over 100 years after the Book of Mormon is published. It was written around 600 BC, the same time the Book of Mormon begins, shortly before Babylon and King Nebuchadnezzar destroyed Jerusalem. The letters mention prophets who were going around in defiance of the government and weakening the hands of the people. So obviously one of these was Jeremiah, one that's mentioned in the Lachish Letters is Uriah, and another one that we know from the Book of Mormon is Lehi. So where were the records found? Now this is the part that I really want to highlight because of this verse. The records were found in the guardhouse of the military leader at Lachish. So these records, these important records that were kept on pottery, the Lachish Letters, were found being stored in the military house in Lachish. Now we know that important records of the time, in the time of distress, when time of turmoil, were taken to guardhouse for protection. So obviously this is a time of turmoil within Jerusalem. They're worried that Babylon's going to come attack them. They've obviously formed an alliance with Egypt, and they know it's coming. So they take the important documents to the guardhouse. If you were to write a fictional account of 600 BC Jerusalem with the knowledge available in 1830, you would put important religious documents like the brass plates inside the temple, maybe even the Holy of Holies, where the Ark of the Covenant was. But the Book of Mormon puts the brass plates in the guardhouse of Laban. We now know this is exactly where the record would have been thanks to the Lachish Letters. The record of the Jews with the genealogy of Joseph was in the guardhouse of a military leader of Jerusalem who was a descendant of Joseph. The chances of guessing this correctly cannot be measured. They're virtually impossible that you could ever know that part of the culture or customs of the day were to take these records and disperse them to the guardhouses. And yet the Book of Mormon is spot on once again.